A very good morning and welcome to In Dialogue with Youth 2020. I am Irin and I'll be your MC for today's program. Today, we are delighted to have students, educators, and industry leaders here with us to participate and engage on energy issues that matter to us and our future. Before we begin, we'd like to share with you today's program agenda, which can be seen on your screens. There will be a short quiz on Singapore's energy sector at the end of this program. I strongly encourage you to participate actively. There are 20 $10 Grab vouchers up for grabs. A big hint we have for you is that the answers to the quiz can be found in today's program and under the Youth Energy Showcase. So do pay close attention to today's program and remember to check out the showcases. Now, we have prepared a short video to tell you a little bit more about what Singapore is doing to develop our energy workforce. So sit back and enjoy. Do remember to take some notes as it might help you in your quiz later.
Can you imagine life without electricity? We wouldn't be able to charge our phones or laptops. That means no internet, no TikTok, no Instagram.
That sounds terrible. There would also be no lighting and no air conditioning. MRT trains would not be able to operate and the whole city would come to a standstill. I hope this never happens to Singapore.
You're right. The energy sector is indeed vital to powering our daily lives. I completed my internship with an energy company recently. Did you know? We have a dedicated power engineering workforce working behind the scenes 24/7 to keep the lights on and gas flowing. Thanks to them, we can enjoy a reliable supply of electricity at any time. This is why I'm thinking of joining the energy sector to make a difference to the lives of Singaporeans.
Oh wow! I have not decided on a career path to pursue after graduation, but I know that I want to do something exciting and fulfilling. Can you tell me more about your decision?
Sure. As we both know, Singapore is a small country with limited energy resources. Hence, we need to explore different energy options and seize new opportunities. Have you heard of the Singapore energy story?
Yes, I have. My teacher mentioned it in class. The Singapore energy story harnesses 4 switches: natural gas, solar, regional power grids, and low-carbon alternatives to transform our energy supply. The 4 switches are supported by energy efficiency to reduce energy demand.
That's right. This sets the vision for a clean and efficient energy future. With the use of solar becoming more common, innovative solutions such as energy storage systems will be deployed to store excess solar energy for use at a later time. The energy sector is constantly pushing the boundaries, leveraging innovation and digitalization to power its development. With greater digitalization, there are boundless opportunities to transform the way we work, live, and play. This means the emergence of new roles and functions, with exciting opportunities for learning and career development.
The energy sector does sound very appealing. How can students like us find out more?
There are plenty of initiatives available out there. The Energy Market Authority has been collaborating with industry partners, unions, government agencies, and institutes of higher learning to bring these initiatives to students like ourselves. Do you remember what you learned about thermodynamics in physics class? Many of these science concepts are applicable in the energy sector.
Yes, I remember. It was one of my favorite topics. Are there resources where we can find out more about how these science concepts are applied?
Glad you asked. On EMA's YouTube channel, there are videos for us to learn about real-life energy applications.
Are there ways for me to see what the actual working environment is like or learn about the latest energy developments?
Yes, you can join the Powering Lives Trails to visit energy facilities that are not normally accessible to the public. It is a rare chance to go behind the scenes and witness how the sector powers Singapore and brings engineering concepts to life. Besides that, events such as Youth SIEW provide a platform for youths to discuss ideas on energy issues. It is also an opportunity to learn from industry players through dialogue sessions.
Speaking of which, I heard that there will be an energy exhibition at the Science Center. I can't wait to visit and learn more about the evolution of our energy sector.
Me too! I can't wait either! Oh yes, there are also competitions to put your ideas and knowledge to the test.
Wow, tell me more.
I participated in the SEMcorp EMA Energy Challenge last year. This is a computer simulation game that models real-world issues faced by professionals in the energy sector. I had a wonderful time learning about the trade-offs between energy security, costs, and sustainability. My friend's team even came up tops, winning cash prizes and internships with SEMcorp.
Wow, the prizes do sound attractive.
There's also the newly launched Singapore Energy Grand Challenge for youths. You can create your own energy worlds in Minecraft Education Edition and showcase your vision of Singapore's energy future in 2050.
Cool. Nothing beats being able to learn while having fun. I will definitely share this with my friends. So, what if I've made up my mind and want to kickstart my career in the energy sector?
You can consider applying for scholarships. There are dedicated scholarships for students like us, such as the Singapore Industry Scholarship and the Energy Industry Scholarship. These scholarships cover full tuition fees, monthly allowances, and internships with companies.
What if I decide to upskill myself midway during my career?
No worries. Power engineering professionals are entitled to training grants of up to $5,000 under the Skills Future Study Award to deepen technical skill sets during their careers.
Really? That's amazing!
Within the energy sector, there are many opportunities for professional growth as we move towards an increasingly decarbonized and digitalized energy future.
Fantastic! That way, I can continue to make a difference and pick up relevant skills to develop sustainable solutions for Singapore.
Yep, we can look forward to various training courses to learn new skills in areas such as energy storage systems and data analytics. You can also look up the skills framework for energy and power to better understand the various career pathways in the industry.
Thanks for sharing. The energy sector sure sounds like a great place to work in. This is especially important as Singapore moves towards greater sustainability as part of our energy story.
Indeed, the energy sector is essential to the survival of Singapore. Hence, the sector is on the lookout for passionate students to achieve our vision of a sustainable energy future. That's why I'm determined to be a part of this meaningful workforce. What about you?
Of course, I want to do my part too. Count me in.
Awesome! Let's work together to power Singapore into the future.
We hope you've enjoyed the video. Do take some time after the session to visit the energy projects that are on display by your friends on the Youth Exhibition tab on the virtual platform. Now, it is 9:08 on a Friday morning. For some, this is very early. To pump up everyone's morning, we have prepared a short poll to gather your thoughts and impressions on the Singapore energy sector. To access the poll, you can either scan the QR code currently flashed on screen or enter the URL www.pigeonhole.at into your internet browser. When prompted, you can then enter the event passcode YSIEW2020. If you're watching this on your phone, please access the poll to share your thoughts with us before coming back here to join us again. So let me give everyone a few moments to join the poll. I see that we have a number of participants that have joined. Now let us start the poll. The first question is, to meet Singapore's energy needs, what do you think is the most important? Is it energy security, economic competitiveness, or environmental sustainability? So as we're gathering more votes on the first question, let us move on to the second question. The second question is, in your opinion, which of the following switches do you think is the most important, which will make the greatest impact to Singapore's energy future? Is it natural gas, solar, regional power grids, or low-carbon alternatives? So as we are gathering votes on the second question, let us move on to the third question. The third question is, what will had motivated you to take up a power-related course of study? Do choose the option which has the biggest motivation for you to join the power sector or will motivate you to take it up in the future. As we're gathering more polls on the third question, let us move on to the fourth question. The first question is, which statement best describes what you know about working in the energy sector? Again, do choose the option which is the most suitable. While we are gathering the feedback on the question 4, let's move on to the fifth and final question. What is the top factor that will motivate you to choose a career in the energy sector? Do let us know which option is the biggest motivation to you. With that, we have come to the end of this short poll. Thank you everyone for participating. Before we move on to the next segment, we have prepared another video to share a little bit more about Singapore's energy sector. Again, do remember to take some notes as it might help you in your quiz later.
We are constantly looking for innovative solutions to ensure a clean, affordable, and reliable energy future. Our energy demand is also set to increase as our economy develops. To mitigate climate change, it is urgent for Singapore to harness sustainable energy sources. Due to the lack of natural resources, we must constantly find innovative ways to cater to increasing energy demands. But there is no single solution. We must balance the trade-offs between energy security, energy affordability, and environmental sustainability. This is what we call the energy trilemma. As part of our energy story, we have identified 4 key switches to ensure energy is produced sustainably to power our future. They are natural gas, solar, regional power grids, and low-carbon alternatives.
Did you know that more than 95% of Singapore's electricity is generated from natural gas? And since we don't have natural resources in Singapore, we have to import natural gas from around the world via ships and pipelines. Natural gas that is imported via ships is first cooled into liquefied natural gas, or LNG, before leaving its home country. Here on Jurong Island, LNG is converted into usable natural gas in a process called regasification. The natural gas is compressed rapidly to LNG via an adiabatic process. This means that there is no heat exchanged with the surroundings.
It's then turned back into liquid and mixed with the rest of the LNG that will be vaporized at the open-rack vaporizers. After going through the vaporizer, the LNG becomes usable natural gas. It is transported through our natural gas pipeline for Singapore's use.
So there you have it. As of today, natural gas is the most practical energy source for large-scale power generation in Singapore. It gives us security of supply. It's cost-effective and environmentally friendly.
The solar panels that you see here harness energy from the sun to generate electricity. Did you notice that the solar panels are installed on water bodies to maximize the surface area available? Due to our space constraints, Singapore is installing solar on rooftops as well. By 2020, about 1 in 2 HDB rooftops will have solar panels. Solar is highly dependent on weather conditions. When a cloud passes by and blocks the sun, the amount of energy that can be captured by solar panels decreases. This is why for solar installations, we're also looking at how we can effectively store excess energy in industrial batteries known as energy storage systems or ESS. Now, we're going to see how Singapore continues to innovate and explore alternative energy sources. We're here at Pulau Semakau, our offshore landfill site. It is part of Nanyang Technological University's or NTU's microgrid test site. This area here is where NTU scientists and leading companies test and develop sustainable energy solutions for Singapore, such as wind and solar. Given our geographical location, Singapore's average wind speeds is much lower than the speeds required by large-scale wind turbines. Hence, relying on wind energy is still a big challenge for us. Despite that, we'll continue to see how Singapore can introduce different renewable energy sources into our nation's energy mix, balancing it with our economic and security considerations. Until then, we still rely primarily on natural gas and solar for our energy needs. All of us have a part to play to contribute and to co-create Singapore's energy story.
Imagine Singapore without electricity. A Singapore where there is no power to live, work and play. A Singapore where we can't perform our everyday tasks. A Singapore without power to sustain our economy.
I ensure that the railway traction system is well constructed and designed for the safety of commuters. I am a power engineer.
I ensure the high availability of mission-critical systems that allows the operators access to information to maintain reliable power supply.
I am a power engineer.
I design robust electrical solutions that are critical for key defense systems and facilities to operate during peacetime, war, and other contingencies.
I explore ways to increase renewable energy through the deployment of solar panels.
I review design proposals and audit safety-critical electronic systems for lifts, escalators and amusement rides to ensure the safety of users. I'm a power engineer.
Together, we bring power to the people.
Wow, that is indeed a very exciting video, which we hope you have enjoyed. Now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to invite Minister of State, Ministry of Trade and Industry, Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, Ms. Low Yen Ling, on stage to deliver her opening remarks. Ms. Low, please.
A very good morning. Normally, you'll be seated in front of me, and I've attended this event a couple of years back and always look forward to coming to this platform to meet with the students, the educators. Very good morning to all the students. I know many of you have dialed in because I was here at about 8:30. I saw many of you already dialed in. Good morning to all our students, educators, and our industry partners. I'm pleased to join you here in today's dialogue to share and exchange views on Singapore's energy landscape. And let me first thank Mr. Kelvin Lin, the Group CEO of Power Holdings, for joining us today to share his working experience and providing our students with insights on the energy sector. Later on, he will join me at the panel. And I think to all the students and the educators and the partners who are dialed in, I think you will agree with me that year 2020 has been a challenging year, both globally and also in Singapore. We are all coping with the disruptions caused by COVID-19. And although for the SIEW event that typically takes place involving thousands of delegates, even though we are doing it in a hybrid way, I think it shows us that there is an opportunity. I always say this, it rings better in Mandarin, 危机中有契机. And during this period, we have had to adapt to new ways of learning. All the students had to do home-based learning for a while. And also we have to adapt to different business models as well as digitalize and innovate. This has brought about new opportunities in Singapore's energy sector as we seek to build a greener and more resilient energy future while reaping the benefits of technological advancement. So I would like to share with you our energy story and how youth and students like yourself can play a role in transforming Singapore towards a more sustainable future. There is a reason why I chose a green jacket today. Friends and colleagues who know me, they will know that I am very passionate about sustainability. And later on, I will show you, for about 7 years, I have not used a plastic bottle. And yesterday, I was just in the heartland launching a sustainability sector job fair. And over the past 50 years, our energy supplies have really evolved significantly. You have seen from the very insightful video earlier, we have moved from heavy reliance on oil-fired power plants towards greater adoption of cleaner and more reliable fuel, natural gas, which now contributes 95% of our electricity supply. Having said that, we continue to face challenging constraints given our limited access to alternative energy resources that are greener and more sustainable. So, given the context, how do we overcome such constraints and transform ourselves? Really, this is our challenge for the next 50 years. We need to achieve reliability, affordability, and sustainability in our energy story to meet Singapore's future social and economic needs. That's why we need to involve you, writing the story for the next 50 years. Our energy story is anchored on 4 important switches: natural gas, solar, regional power grids, and low-carbon alternatives. We will continue to diversify our natural gas sources and improve the efficiency of our power generation. We will also accelerate our deployment of solar panel, and you saw the updates on the deployment of solar panel all across Singapore in the video earlier. In addition, we will need to assess more energy options, such as electricity imports from the region, as announced by Minister Chan Chun Sing on Monday, while also exploring low-carbon alternatives like hydrogen and carbon capture and utilization at the same time. Our energy story presents new economic and job opportunities for Singaporeans, especially youth like yourself, who will write the energy story and Singapore story for the next 50 years. Now, to build a stronger and more resilient energy sector, it is important for us to have a strong, capable, and highly adaptable core of power engineering professionals. I was sharing at the sideline earlier, as you are watching the video, I was sharing with CEO Shi Chun, very happy to see in the videos men and women calling themselves, "I'm a power engineer." Youth like yourselves can play an important role in our energy story, not only as a consumer, but also as a professional in this industry. In time to come, I know some of you are doing year 1, year 2, year 3. We hope you consider a career in this very exciting and growing sector. The video that we have just watched presents many fresh and exciting career opportunities in the energy sector, which we hope will spark your interest in joining this promising sector where jobs can be found, prospects are bright. Now, at this point, I'm also delighted to announce the launch of 2 new energy education resources developed in collaboration with MOE, the 360 degrees MOE EMA Geography video, and the Boil-Off Gas Recovery Science video. These videos give us a glimpse into the innovation developed in the energy sector today, such as Sembcorp Solar's floating solar farm at Tengah Reservoir. I think you saw snippets of that in the video. Now, these exciting advancements are driving sustainability in the energy sector. 2 weeks ago, exactly 2 weeks ago, I attended the award ceremony for the inaugural Singapore Energy Grand Challenge Youth. I think our winners must be dialing in today. Now, in this competition, the students imagined and co-created solutions for the energy future which they envision in year 2050 using Minecraft. Can I just check? I can see the gallery of students. Can I have a show of hands? How many of you are familiar with Minecraft? Don't be shy. I don't know whether do you want to be associated. Oh, I see someone giving me thumbs up. Can you just humor me? Can you give me either a thumbs up or a wave if you have played Minecraft before and you're familiar with it? Can I see? Just a show of hands. Quite a lot. Okay. I'm a mother of two boys. My boys are 13 and 15 years old. So I know they have been mining. Yeah. This is a verb. Yes. So they're doing this day in, day out, and so in this competition, we are very happy to have 92 teams joining this competition, and I saw how the students imagined and co-created solutions for the energy future, which they envisioned in year 2050 using Microsoft Minecraft. And the entries were very captivating, and it demonstrates how young Singaporeans like yourself, you can make a difference to Singapore and to the world that you live in. They talked about how they envision that, in time to come, Singapore will be energy efficient. And I was very impressed with the entries, the level of focus and the efforts that were exhibited by all the teams. Now, I know they have time constraint, but allow me to share two examples. This team called themselves Physics Society. I think, as you can see, they love physics. In their example, they delivered a very impressive Minecraft world with ideas that is underpinned by scientific concepts, physics. And I was very impressed because they took time off, worked together to do this, and entered a competition while juggling their O-levels exam at the same time. They may not be with us today because I think today is O-level science people. All the best to them. Now, the team came up with the idea of applying the thermoelectric effect. What does it mean? To take advantage of the temperature difference between the hot outdoor, and also the indoors that are air-conned to generate electricity. I think we in Singapore, we can really identify with that, right? We walk out and you immediately can feel the humid weather, and you walk into, say, an auditorium, you can feel the aircon. So the team came up with this whole idea of applying thermoelectric effect to take advantage of the temperature difference. Now, I use this example to show that you, every student and every youth, you are undoubtedly the drivers of a better future. And the champions of this competition, they call themselves Team Future Ray. They capture it very well with their tagline, and I'll share with you what is their tagline. It goes like this: it's our energy story, ours to create. It's our energy stories, ours to create. Now, through this competition, the one that we did the award ceremony 2 weeks ago, we hope that our students will gain a deeper appreciation of our energy story, understand the constraints that's faced by policymakers, and also in the process, learn not to take our energy security, affordability, and sustainability for granted. Now, allow me to very quickly share with you a very inspiring story of an aspiring engineer. Her name is Teo Mei Fang. She is a past Energy Industry Scholarship EIS recipient. Some of you may know her because you may be studying the same institution as she graduated from. Mei Fang graduated from SP, Singapore Polytechnic, just last year, in year 2019, with a diploma in electrical and electronic engineering. The scholarship not only provided Mei Fang with resources to complete her diploma studies in electrical and electronic engineering in SP last year, but it also provided her with practical industrial experience where she interned and worked as a technical officer in SP Group. I think you all agree with me that internship is a very important experience to allow you to apply what you learn in school in a real-life work experience. And Mei Fang was also inspired by the female engineers that she met in the energy sector, such that she wanted to pursue further studies in engineering. Happy to share with all of you that Mei Fang is now studying for a part-time degree in electrical and electronic engineering in NTU, supported by her sponsoring organization. So I share this because I hope that the Energy Industry Scholarship Awards and the Singapore Industry Scholarships, all these are catered for ITE, Polytechnic and university students, and these are offered by both EMA and MOE. and co-sponsored by our industry partners will motivate each and every one of you, our young men and women, to create and shape Singapore's energy future. Write our energy story together. Now, in conclusion, dear boys and girls, our students, our educators and industry partners, the COVID-19 pandemic has brought about unprecedented changes to our lives and the energy sector. The energy sector will need to leverage on innovative technological solutions to enable us to use and produce energy sustainably. For this to take place, we need youth like yourself to come on board with your creative ideas, your innovative energy, and your dedicated passion to build Singapore's energy story. Together, let's write an energy story that sees a more reliable, a more sustainable, a more affordable energy sector in Singapore. On this note, allow me, on behalf of MTI, EMA, to express our heartfelt gratitude to the energy sector captains, HR representatives, and also teachers and educators for your efforts in inspiring our next generation of energy leaders. I look forward to hearing your views and thoughts in the dialogue session later. Thank you very much. Have a good day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Moslow, for the inspiring address. We'd like to invite Moslow to take her seat on stage as we proceed with the next segment. We will now like to invite Mr. Kelvin Lim, Group's Chief Executive Officer of Dura Power Holdings, to share about how he is seizing opportunities in a new energy landscape. Mr. Lim, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Moslow. Good morning, Mr. Niam. And good morning to all friends who are connected virtually this morning. I can't see all of you. I'm hoping that you can see me. So when I was invited by EMA to share a speech this morning, I was excited, but at the same time, I was nervous. Nervous because I've never engaged youth at such a large scale before. So I'm hoping that I can bring the presentation to you in a way that is not like a lecture, but more like a sharing. So this morning I'm going to share with you a story about Dura Power. And I have some slides that I will go through, just to let you know a little bit more about what we do as a company, what we do as a business, and how we are playing a part in the transition of the energy landscape. So Dura Power, we are a homegrown Singapore company. We started about more than 10 years ago, and our business really is covering the whole end-to-end spectrum of it, covering from research, development, manufacturing, system integration, and we supply to the global market. We provide lithium battery storage solutions, covering different segments, which I will cover in a few slides later. Our vision is to provide energy storage solutions. We want to play a positive part in creating a sustainable and clean environment, energy environment. And our mission is to be able to use technology and people to deliver the goals that we have. So now I'd like to share a short video about what our company is doing, and it will show some of the projects that we have done in a global area, different countries, different applications, and I'd like to draw your attention to the video.
The evolution of power. Since the dawn of mankind, power defines our very destiny. Power gives us strength, hope, and life, makes us stronger, faster, better, and connects us together as one. But this great power comes with great consequences. Our air is dirty, our cities polluted, and at Dura Power, we believe we can make the change. So we think hard and we try hard, because we believe Power must be high performance, lightweight, durable, and most of all, sustainable. Today, we have found the power. We powered entire fleets of buses, electric cars, automated guided vehicles, and more. With over 100 million kilometers traveled, a 100% safety track record, and over 40 patents worldwide. But we know we can do better. Big data to make better decisions, robots to work faster. Together, we can do much more, bringing power to the rest of our world. Because at DuraPower, we have a vision greater than ourselves. We empower lives today because we want to transform tomorrow. Lives empowered, future transformed.
I hope you liked the video. It gives a very high-level glimpse of what we have done, and we started doing this back in 2009, slightly more than 10 years ago. And as a homegrown Singapore company at that time, when we started our business, we set our vision that we're going to create a positive impact towards a clean and sustainable energy landscape. We thought that energy storage systems is going to be the key. Whether you are looking at electric mobility, whether you're looking at solar renewable energy storage system will remain the common denominator. And that is where we set our sights on. And since then, we have created several achievements, and I'd like to show some of the highlights. So in 2010, we started our manufacturing presence in China. We started our R&D. We were a startup at that time. And we were a startup starting from greenfield. We were a startup starting from a clean sheet, basically. And we created technologies, we created products, we commercialized the products, hitting the major markets and then growing to the global stage. So in some of the highlights we include in 2011, we already started delivering battery solutions to hybrid electric bus fleets at that time. And this will be about 10 years in operations now. And this was mainly in China. China was our major market at that time. And then in 2012, we started into a niche market that we call autonomous vehicle market. And today it's become a big movement in this area, which we're very happy to see. In 2015, we started to revise our strategy, right? So from 2010 to 2014, we were very much focused in the Chinese market. It was a very hot market at that time. Many foreign companies would go to China hoping to do business. We were doing the opposite. And it might surprise some of you, but we thought that sometimes when you are of a certain scale, we do not want to compete with the mass market on price. We decided to then choose our market and how to win. And we then devised an internationalization strategy. We started to set a target to go outside China, outside Singapore. 2015 was when we entered the European market. We entered through the Netherlands. In 2016 was a major win for us. It was, at that time, a largest ever electric bus fleet. We went in for the tender, and we were competing against some of the largest companies you can imagine, the Chinese, the Koreans, the Japanese, the Europeans, and there we were, a small Singapore company. We had no fear. We went for the competition, and when we won the tender, people started to ask, who is DuraPower? Where do they come from? You know, and that is the time when we started to make our name and we started to grow our presence into the larger European market. In 2019 was when we expanded and we set up subsidiaries in Europe, in Thailand, and we are continuing to do that. And this year is a very interesting year, interesting in a negative way. We couldn't do a lot of things that we had planned to do, but nevertheless, Again, we position ourselves to be ready for growth post-COVID, and this is something that we need to do and we never stop. We entered the marine electrification market, and we are also happy to share that we are one of very few battery companies in the world to have our batteries meeting marine standards. And we have launched electric ferries in Thailand and Europe, and I'll talk about it in a bit later. You see here our presence right now. So we are HQ in Singapore. Our manufacturing is in China. We have assembly in Thailand. We have several R&D collaborations in Singapore. We have one in China, in Japan, in Europe, and in the US. So we like to adopt the idea of creating technologies not restricting to borders. We encourage cooperations, and through that we commercialize technologies and we deploy into the global stage, as you can see on the screen here. So Dura Power is currently have a product presence covering more than 20 countries, more than 45 cities globally, and we are continuing to grow as we speak. We have a certain market focus as part of our strategy. So China was one I shared earlier. Europe is another cluster that we are putting a very strong presence. The next lap of growth we see is going to be ASEAN. There are different reasons why we think ASEAN is going to be the next growth engine. Partly is due to because of the COVID pandemic, the impact, and through that we see businesses coming closer to home. And also Singapore government, we heard earlier this week Minister Chan had announced about the faster acceleration of solar energy in Singapore. DPM Heng previously also shared about enhanced focus on e-mobility in Singapore. We are excited to hear blueprints, roadmaps like this, and we are looking forward to be a big part of that. Our commitment to the circular economy, we believe that whatever we do, we have to close the loop in that sense. So we started our research on battery materials, right? Raw materials, and these are materials in powdered form, liquid form, and then we create our own recipe, our own battery composition, and that is a know-how that we have developed. And from there, we design and we manufacture our own battery cells, battery systems, and we deploy into different applications, right? As a one-stop shop and a turnkey solution. Now, at the end of the application of the batteries on electric vehicles, we see a possibility that batteries could be recycled, repurposed, and that's where we put second life batteries into storage, stationary storage solutions. And at the end of that, we recycle them and it comes back to the material stage, right? Hence closing the circular economy. We focus on large battery systems, so we at Dura Power, we are not so much focusing on markets like consumer electronics, electric bicycles, and things like that. We go for the high performance segment. We go for segments that require our products, our technologies to have a difference in impact in terms of performance. That is how Singapore companies should compete. That is where we define our value, we create a segment that we are and we can be strong, and that's how we demonstrated our growth. So we have deployed battery solutions ranging from as small as 30 to 50 kilowatt hour on the electric cars to as large as in the tens of megawatt hour for stationary applications. Here shows the three major markets that we are operating in today. First is what we call e-mobility. In this case, we cover vehicle segments covering from buses, trucks, vessels, cars, and that's where we put batteries to electrify or hybrid or fuel cell. That's where we currently supply a lot of that. The second segment is what we call specialty platforms. And these are essentially autonomous vehicles or off-road vehicles, special purpose vehicles. And we have been very much involved in this market. We are a major supplier to some of the largest fleets, autonomous fleets that you see in Singapore as well as in Europe. The third segment that we are active in is what we call stationary applications. And that's where we put batteries on applications covering C&I, commercial and industrial, and then on the larger scale, the microgrid, the smart grids, and obviously it's an essential part of the renewable energy integration. And so in Singapore, we see rooftop applications, and there are others that we are very much involved in. A deeper dive into the segments, and I'd like to share. So on the top row, you see that would be battery solutions that we put on electric cars, and we are supplying to vehicle manufacturers in Japan, and these are battery solutions, innovative, that is designed such a way that you can plug in to charge the car, or you can choose to swap the batteries, right? So it's designed in a way that allows swapping or charging. The second row you see there is where we put batteries onto autonomous vehicles, and these are really driverless to the extent that the charging is without human operators as well. So it's fully autonomous, and we are a big part of that in this sector. The third sector is what we do a lot, where we provide battery solutions on electric bus fleets. Now, the question might be, how do we compete against some of the largest companies in the world, like in China and in Europe today, where they put the same thing, so to speak? So the general understanding is, are we doing the same thing? The answer is no. We entered the market with a differentiation factor. We wanted to make batteries lightweight and fast charging. And that is something that we have demonstrated successfully 5 years ago, right? We recognize the fact that electric vehicles needs to have batteries that are lightweight, so they go an extra mile. We recognize the need that electric vehicles needs to be charged in the shortest time possible, so it doesn't influence the consumer to not want it, right? So we develop technology and products that has delivered all these goals. And you can see there good examples of applications that we have currently. Last but not least, on the bottom row is where we put battery solutions onto hydrogen vehicles or fuel cell applications. And this is a nascent market. It's not mass commercialized, so to speak. But again, we are taking a position to be involved in this sector as it matures. The marine sector. This is an interesting sector that has grown very quickly in the last couple of years. The pictures that you see on the screen are actual ferries that we have launched with Dura Power batteries. There are, on the left is a ferry that is operating in Thailand. In fact, both these ferries are operating in Thailand by different operators. They are different design, and they're incorporated with solar energy, and as well as providing a clean mode of transport like a river taxi, right? So that is in Bangkok right now. And as we speak, we are also delivering solutions to equip vessel manufacturers in Europe. So that will be announced very soon. In the middle picture is where we will be launching the first hybrid electric vessel in Singapore. We are a proud member of that project, and we look forward to that launch later this year. Here you see some of the applications that we put on the stationary space, right? And the picture on the top left is where you see Pulau Semakau. Our batteries are there being part of the renewable energy integration. And we do a lot of these microgrid applications, including the picture on the top right. That's where we supply batteries in Myanmar to supply to the mobile and telecoms market. That's where the base towers, the telecoms base stations, and our batteries are there serving as a backup power and providing the essential energy stability. So storage are being deployed for different purposes. And I mentioned earlier, commercial and industrial, on-grid, off-grid, virtual power plants. Storage is becoming a more important factor as we develop and mature the industry. And currently, storage solutions are being used to do peak shaving, frequency regulation, backup power, etc. and it will continue to be a major part of this ecosystem. Second life deployment is a very interesting segment that we are developing right now. We believe that batteries at the end of life, when they're used on electric vehicles, they should have a repurpose or secondary life application. And this is one of the missions that personally and as a company we hope to achieve. You saw in the video earlier that one of our wish is to bring energy to the rural areas, the less privileged. And these are people living on islands or villages who do not have traditional energy supply. And a lot of these places are around us, Indonesia, Thailand, Myanmar, and so on. They have now been equipped with solar installations, which is a good thing. But we all know that with solar energy, you often see an erratic supply behavior, right, depending on a cloudy or sunny day. So putting storage to complement that is a good technical solution. However, because battery cost is high, the adoption rate is very challenging at the moment. So we came with the idea that if we could recycle used batteries and repurpose them into secondary life, this would be a big mission and a big impact to sustainability, to humanity as well. So this is something that we're working on, and we hope to do and show more in the future. Battery charging infrastructure, we supply this as well as a way to complete the loop as a turnkey project for some of our clients. Chargers remains a very important piece if we want to successfully roll out mass electric vehicles. So we play a big part in that to want to make sure that this will be rolled out smoothly. Now, how do we remain relevant and competitive in the space that we are in? It is a high growth area, which also means it is a highly competitive area. We want to make sure that we stay ahead on technology. And we have done a lot of research. We co-invested in research programs. Some of these are jointly invested by Singapore government agencies. And we as a Singapore company, we partake in developments like this. And we want to center this development and IP creation in Singapore. And that is where we will then commercialize in different countries and supply to the global market. So some examples on battery chemistries are unique in different applications, but we often define technologies that would make an impact. For instance, batteries that would be the lightest in weight. Batteries would be the safest on Earth. Batteries that would withstand high temperature conditions. So we look for challenges and we define solutions to overcome these challenges. That would make us different from our competitors. On battery systems, we do a lot of that, and part of our strategy at Duro Power is we like to set Singapore as our center of excellence. A center of excellence for battery system design, battery chemistry research, and several other functions. We believe that we can do a lot in Singapore, IP creation in Singapore, and inviting international cooperations on that. And then we go out to the global market commercially. I shared earlier about some of the programs that we've been involved in. We are very appreciative and thankful to the Singapore government and the government agencies, the IHLs. We are very active in participation and cooperation in these programs. We welcome joint research programs, and there are several things that's ongoing. I won't go through all of them, but these are projects that we partake in, and we are keen to do more of that with the purpose of creating Singapore as a strong IP hub, right? And that's one of our vision. So the energy landscape is transiting. So essentially, what does it mean to all of us, right? I mentioned about we need to stay ahead, but what is the macro environment and how do we look at it? And I'm happy to share that globally, there is a positive growth trend, whether you are talking about electric vehicles or the stationary space, we see a strong growth in the global market. And Dura Power is in the middle of that. And because of this, we will create a lot more to have a workforce that will support our growth. And if you look at the screen here, a battery system actually is very much multidisciplinary needed, right? And it's not just about material science because you think about batteries, but a lot of that goes in there. Electrical engineering, we have IoT, we have mechanical engineering, simulation, etc., etc. So as we continue to grow and as we continue to expand in this space, we would anticipate more jobs will be created. As it is, I was sharing with Moslow earlier this morning that at this time, because of COVID, many companies are downsizing. I believe we are one of the few who are still hiring. We are still expanding. And this is important because we don't stop at doing what we do because of COVID pandemic. We need to be ready for a strong rebound post-COVID, and that's why we are continuing to build a strong growth strategy and a strong team to support that. So this is, I have come to the last slide of my sharing. I hope it's informative. I hope it's useful for you. And I'll be happy to take more questions later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lim, for the informative sharing. Please take your seat on stage as we proceed with the next segment. Before we begin the next segment of In Dialogue with Youth, we would like to invite the audience to use the Q&A function located on the right of your screen. You may pose any questions you have on the energy sector through this discussion platform. Please ensure that you have selected the Questions tab when submitting your questions. Do state your name, school, and if your question is directed to any of our speakers. It is my pleasure to invite Moslow and Mr. Lim on screen for the dialogue session. I will also invite Michelle on screen, who will be moderating this session. Over to you, Michelle.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle from the Energy Market Authority, and I'm pleased to be joined by Ms. Lo Yen Ling and Mr. Kelvin Lim for today's dialogue session. Thank you once again for the insightful sharing earlier. As Minister Chan shared at the SIEW opening address on Monday, Singapore aspires to be a bright green spark through living green, powering green, and developing our green market structures. This is in line with the theme for our Youth SIEW this year, seizing opportunities in a new energy landscape. So earlier, Moslow shared a bit about how we are evolving towards a greener and more resilient future, and how youths like yourself can play a transformative role. Mr. Lim also shared about the very exciting things that we are doing in this space. So to kickstart our discussion, may I first invite Moslow to share a bit about some of the exciting developments that students can look forward to.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm going to ask Michelle one question which I didn't prepare her, but I thought it's really timely to do so. Michelle, can I ask, when did you join EMA?
So I joined EMA about 4 years ago.
Can you share with our youth, I know I didn't prepare her, it's not very fair, but where did you graduate from? Because I think in Michelle, each and every one of you can see yourself in the future, right? You know, not just joining a growing sector where jobs can be found and also prospects are bright, but really, you know, sit alongside the CEO of EMA or even the industry captains to co-host sessions like this. So can you share with our friends?
Yeah.
What did you study previously?
Yeah, so indeed. So I majored in economics, and personally for myself, I was very interested in the energy sector because I saw a lot of new developments in terms of how we are pushing towards decarbonisation, renewables, as well as even new technologies such as energy storage systems. So personally, in my work in EMA, I work with companies such as Dura Power to co-create partnerships between the government and the industry, as well as develop policies to make sure that our policies are open to the market so that players like Dura Power and small, medium enterprises will come into Singapore's market and create a very vibrant energy sector for our youths as well as for our country.
Thank you. To all our students and educators, I really did not prepare Michelle, but I felt very inspired to interview her. Sorry, I flipped it around on you.
Thank you very much.
And I thought you should chime in because I think our students and our educators have heard a lot from Kelvin and myself, because I think we each gave about 15 minutes sharing, and we would like to now pivot into Q&A. But suffice to say, that we want to assure you that Singapore is committed to co-creating our energy future with you and forge a more sustainable energy future, a greener, a more resilient energy future. And really at the same time, like what Michelle and also Kelvin has mentioned, really maximizing the technological advancement, which will lead to a lot of cost savings, etc. How, solar panel generation and also ESS, we talked about the energy storage system, the costs are coming down. So I believe by year 2030, the cost of solar panel, solar energy generation and also ESS will be on par with the Genco type of cost. So I think it makes a lot of sense for us to pivot. So at this juncture, maybe I'll hand over very quickly to Kelvin, and then we will now, then later on, we will turn our attention to you, our students, to your Q&A.
Yeah, so Kelvin, perhaps you could just add on and share a bit more about what our graduating students can look forward to when they enter this energy sector.
I would say exciting times, right? If I have a single word to say what you can look forward to, it is exciting times. Especially, we are seeing a big movement in energy transition. And in Singapore, and I shared earlier as well, we need to pick a place to go and define a way to win. And how we do that was, I hope I have shared earlier, with a good understanding for you, is that we look for challenges and we don't go for the me too. We can't compete on scale, we can't compete on price when we go into some markets, right? Yep. So we need to have a differentiating factor, and we are a team that will do that and have proven to do that, and we will be doing more, and we look forward to have you part of the community.
So we would now like to open the floor for questions. So students, you may key in your questions under the questions tab. Okay, so the first question that we have received is, how has COVID-19 affected the energy sector? So perhaps I could invite Moslo to share a bit about this.
Right, thank you, Michelle. I also want to encourage the students as you send your questions in, because I'm also mindful that we have a lot of exciting programs happening later, the scholarship and the virtual showcase. Feel free to send your questions in. If need be, both Kelvin and myself can take it together in a bunch and address it. Now, I think earlier on we talked about how 2020 has been a very different and also challenging year. COVID-19 has affected every one of us in a different manner. For students, students, you have to go through home-based learning. And I think if you're studying in Polytechnic, ITE, or even university, you still have to continue a lot of your learning online from home via Zoom or Google Meet, Microsoft Teams. I see a lot of you nodding away. I think initially you enjoy it, right? But the novelty factor wears off after a while. And I know you thrive, all of us humans thrive on the human interactions. And certainly COVID-19 has disrupted many businesses. In terms of energy sector, I'm very, very happy to hear from Kelvin that Durapower continues to hire. He's very humble. Earlier on in my chit-chat with him, I asked him, his company has grown rapidly since its formation as a startup. They are now hiring more than 300 people in 20 over countries. So you're not just working for a local company, you're working for a local company in a growing energy sector that always pushes the envelope. Like what he has mentioned, really define the challenge statement, like what Apple have done 1-2 decades ago and create a wing app or product. And I think that itself is a very appealing value proposition for any students or any job seekers. And happy to hear from Kelvin that in a challenging year like this, he has actually continued to recruit 5 engineers. And he is happy to sign on more recruits or even interns, so do reach out to him. So coming back to the question, how has it disrupted energy sector? If you ask me, I think the key players, the stakeholders in the energy sector continue to keep the eye on the long-term plan, which is to create a more sustainable, more resilient, more green energy future. Earlier on, I talked about how our energy future really centers on our 4 switches. Natural gas, which still contributes 95% of electricity generation. Solar energy, I think that is what really excites many of you, I think. And of course, we have our regional power grid and also low carbon alternatives. I was sharing with Kelvin, Michelle, and also CEO Shi Chun that yesterday I was at a job fair, and this is a very atypical job fair in the heartland, but it is a theme-centric job fair. It is sustainability sector. And we work with Sembcorp. I mentioned Sembcorp earlier. Sembcorp is still recruiting, not just by single digit, but 3-digit figure in this year, especially when it comes to deployment of solar panel. Now, maybe I just share with you some examples. Many of us are staying in HDB block, and we talked about the Solar Nova program earlier in the speech and also in the video. Some of you may be staying in the west. If I can use the example of Choa Chu Kang. Choa Chu Kang is actually an eco-town. I see some of you are nodding away. And by year 2025, 600 blocks in Choa Chu Kang will be, the rooftop will be deployed with solar panels. Now let me just share with you, for a typical block, I understand from Sembcorp that they will be able to deploy 100 solar panels. For a typical block, it's quite impressive. Now each panel is equivalent to growing two trees every year, right? Each panel. So you imagine for every block that you deploy 100 panels, that's planting 200 trees, right? So 600 blocks, that's equivalent to, you can do the sum. And I think that's almost equivalent to taking off like 4,000 vehicles off the road. So I'm combining the energy future story with a sustainable Singapore because I think there is no better time to push ahead with our plans for a more sustainable, green, and also resilient energy future than now.
Thank you, Moslo. I think indeed the COVID-19 has revealed how important it is to keep our lights on and gas flowing for Singapore, especially as we are all working and studying from home. So the next question that we have is, what is the role of youths in co-creating our energy story? Maybe I could invite Kelvin to answer this question first.
Sure, thanks Michelle. So I was a youth before, long time ago. In fact, I believe in renewable energy as early as more than 20 years ago, right? I'm an engineer by training. I was a designer for electric vehicle. I was based in the US doing that, right? And I thought the importance of public education starts at a young age. Today, in certain countries that we operate in, many a times when we talk about electric vehicles or renewable energy, it might become a fear statement to some people. Oh, what if I run out of gas? What if I run out of energy and my vehicle gets stuck? But actually, it is not as complicated as that, right? So education is needed, public awareness is needed, and it has to start from youth. And that would be my comment to that question.
Can I also just chime in on that question, Michelle? Yeah. I talked about the award ceremony held 2 weeks ago, Singapore Energy Grand Challenge Youth, and had the pleasure of meeting the top 3 teams, and they were sharing their Minecraft story, and it's really very exciting. And if I can use that as an example, like I want to echo what Kelvin has mentioned, it really starts from young. And I think each and every one of you, you are really our spokesperson for a more sustainable, greener, and resilient energy future. In fact, we learned a lot from the 92 entries. In fact, they shared with us the simple steps we can take to ensure energy efficiency. So for example, the use of LED lights. And I talked about the Choa Chu Kang example. If allow me to come back to that, because you may notice whether or not we stay in HDB or other buildings. Now, in fact, in Choa Chu Kang town, almost all the lamps in the HDB blocks and also the lights in the common area have been converted to LED lights with dimmers. So I think these are practical steps we can take. And also many of our students go to school with classroom. In poly, you probably use lecture theatre, etc. If we have occupancy sensor, I think that will ensure energy efficiency. And you know, in a tropical city like Singapore, if we have thermal insulation in our buildings to really reduce the use of aircon, not that we are asking you to give up aircon, but at least reduce the usage of aircon, which actually is one of the key sources of carbon emission. I think that's a practical suggestion, and this is also one of the suggestions that came out of this year's entries. And the use of cool paint on rooftop to decrease the heat absorption. And I think all these are practical steps and suggestions that we have heard from students in our interactions with you and also in the Singapore Energy Grand Challenge. So you're never too young to make a difference in our energy story. This is exactly what we mean when we say we want to co-write and co-curate our energy story for the next 50 years with you. So do send your ideas in. Keep sending them in. Thank you.
Thank you, Moslow and Kelvin. Indeed, Youth SIEW is a great platform for youths like yourselves to contribute your ideas. And later on, we have a Youth Energy Showcase by your peers, where you can see the different initiatives and ideas that they have for the energy sector. So the next question that we have would be for Kelvin. So I think there are a lot of questions coming in on the type of cells that are used in Dura Power battery packs and whether Dura Power would do research and development on supercapacitors, which are more applicable to electric vehicles. So Kelvin, would you like to take these questions?
For sure. Thanks, Michelle. And I like the question because it is a very relevant question when we talk about this technically, right? So what kind of batteries do we use? We are focused on lithium-ion batteries. And these are batteries based on, for instance, chemistries that would allow fast charging and lightweight. I talked about that before. And we saw also more than 15 years ago, there was a strong development in supercaps. Supercapacitors were there as a component that allows very fast charging. However, they are also very fast discharging, right? So you can contain energy in there. So we developed battery solutions that would have equal or better performance, that batteries today can do that kind of high charging and discharging rate, just like a supercapacitor. However, the performance are given at a much lower cost, much lower price. So that's our research target and our vision.
Indeed, energy storage system is really important as we move towards the future, since we are deploying more solar. And I think just now Moslow and Kelvin also mentioned that with the intermittency of solar, it is important for us to pair solar with energy storage systems to ensure a stable power output. So while we wait for the questions to stream in, perhaps I could also invite Moslow to share a bit about what are some of the initiatives that we are doing to attract youths to join the energy sector.
Thank you. Well, Michelle is now doing the reverse on me, but thank you. I thought you will be a much better spokesperson. And I really wanted, why I spring a surprise on Michelle is I want to challenge our boys and girls, our students. You know, we would like to support you with all the necessary insights, and that's why we have Powering Lives Trail, and that starts very young and it's done in a very experiential way because we figure out a learning journey like that will allow you to really understand, you know, this is a sector that will allow Singaporeans and companies to, like what Michelle mentioned, keeps the light on, etc., come what may. So this is a very important sector, and there are many silent heroes and heroines working, toiling behind the scene to keep it going. And the reason why I combine this topic on sustainability and our energy future is this is really a growing sector where we will continue to see investments and more efforts pouring into this area, and more exciting jobs coming into this area. And so other than the experiential Powering Lives Trail, we have this year's the inaugural Singapore Grand Challenge and Singapore Energy Grand Challenge, and we do hope those who join in this year continue to join in and share with your friends to also send in their entries. And really, these are not just for sake of competition. I specifically highlighted some of the entries, ideas related to energy efficiency, because these are some of the practical ideas that our EMA colleagues can really bring on board. And in time to come, don't be surprised if you see your ideas come to fruition. And don't be surprised if you see your friends joining the energy sector. So other than that, of course, we have the scholarships that I've mentioned that is open for ITE graduates, polytechnic graduates, and also university graduates. So really, keep an open mind, explore internship opportunities, and also speak to practitioners in this area, or even speak to, you know, your alumni, whether you're polytechnic alumni, IT alumni, university alumni, like Michelle, to really understand the insights and opportunities in this very exciting sector that will keep powering Singapore ahead.
Thank you, Moslo. So I think today we spoke extensively about the different decarbonization efforts that we're moving towards. So maybe we could move the focus to a bit of digitalization. So I think we see a lot of data analytics being used in the work now. So perhaps, Kelvin, you could share how this trend towards digitalization and data analytics would help support the work of power engineering professionals.
Sure, Michelle. And data analytics, digitization has never been more important. In times like now, we have COVID, we are not able to travel, and because we have solutions deployed in more than 20 countries, but we can't travel, but we need to monitor the systems. So the only way is to do that remotely, right? So that's one part of that. The second part of that is batteries by nature, is a chemical product that reacts according to applications over time, right? So the only way to make a better battery is to observe and do analysis on how the battery behavior has been for the last 5-10 years, right? And based on that, we would then be able to create better chemistries that would better serve the application going forward. And it's a continuous cycle, right? And only with data analytics and a big focus on that would allow us to create more innovative solutions going forward.
Kelvin and Michelle, if you allow me to chime in, although I am not a practitioner in this sector, again, if I can share with you what I've seen at the sustainability sector job fair, the industry captain from Sembcorp showed me very interesting tools that they were working with. So I talk about the solar panel, and earlier on in the video, you heard the gentleman saying that today, in year 2020, 1 in 2 HDB blocks have solar panel on the rooftop. And there'll be many more HDB blocks participating in Singapore government's Solar Nova project by year 2030. And by then, I think the solar energy that's been generated from this panel will power at least 350,000 households. So then you think, okay, installation is one, but maintenance is just as important, right? That's where we need power engineering professionals. And I understand from the friends from Sembcorp that in today's context, what happened is they need the engineer to actually hold an infrared scanner. That's pretty heavy. When I tried it, it's probably close to 1 kilogram. It's quite a big machine. It's almost something that you use to scan a barcode. So I asked them, how are they doing it now? So they basically say that for the solar panel, installation is one, but you need to consistently check if there's cracks, etc. Or, we talk about the importance of sunny day, right? And then what happens when there's cloud cover? So it will actually affect how you capture the solar energy, especially it will be very intermittent. Right. Sorry to bring this up. So they also mentioned something that happens, bird droppings. So they need to use the infrared scanner to scan the solar panel and make sure that it is still functioning, to check for the efficacy and also effectiveness of each solar panel. And in each solar panel, they really need to scan the entire panel. Am I right, Kelvin?
Yes, correct.
It is not easy. It is tedious to do that on the rooftop of a HDB block. So then they showed me, moving forward, this job will be replaced by another role, which is really interesting. They showed me a very light drone. I'm sorry I didn't bring it today, but I think you know what I mean. And more interestingly, they showed me the controller of the drone that looks like an Xbox controller. I think all the boys will be very happy to hear that. Right? So I imagine this is really a fascinating job because, you will learn how to fly a drone. The girls are all laughing too. How to operate the drone. And it's almost like playing a game. I'm not trying to trivialize the job. What I'm saying is EMA is working hand in hand with all the industry partners to redesign our current jobs for energy sector to make it more sustainable, green and resilient, but at the same time to make sure that it is higher value add. So when you join this sector, you are not only checking the efficacy of the solar panel, but because it becomes more efficient, you can actually check the efficacy from the ground floor, from the control room. By flying the drone, it means that you have more time now to focus on other jobs like data analytics, etc.
And I'll probably just further add to that. We have currently deployed battery solutions like we electrify public transport. And these are places far away. It could be as far as Finland. It could be India. And the only way we could see how the batteries are performing is through remote and through data analytics. And this is happening real time every day. And it's very important.
Yeah, thank you, Moslo and Kelvin, for the insightful sharing. I wish I had more time to continue the discussion with you, but unfortunately, we need to wrap up our discussion. So perhaps to end off, I could invite Moslo and Kelvin to share a few concluding remarks.
Well, to all our youths, I want to thank you for joining us on this beautiful Friday. I think we really look forward to your virtual showcase later. And I hope you keep an open mind, explore all possibility. I want to assure you this is a very exciting sector that will promise very good, bright prospects and many different types of jobs. I liked Kelvin's slides, in particular the one slide on the multidisciplinary workforce. It shows you that in order to power a battery, you don't only need a power engineering diploma, higher NITEC or NITEC or degree. You actually need different type of skill sets. So do not fret if you're not engineering background. Michelle said she majored in economics, but if you are interested in co-creating and curating a more sustainable, more resilient and greener energy future, join this sector.
Thank you, Moslo. Kelvin?
I hope my story this morning, by the way, is a true story. I hope the story had inspired you. We believe that the energy landscape is transiting, and nothing is going to stop that. And for us to be ready, we need today to think different so that we can do different. It may not be a sector that is perhaps what we call conventional, but we are moving towards the new norm, and we need new skill sets, and you will be part of it. You are the future, and we hope to have you work with us.
Thank you, Kelvin and Moslo. So we hope that all of you have learned about the exciting developments in the energy sector and are inspired to pursue a dynamic and empowering career. Thank you once again to the both of you for joining us in our dialogue session. So let me hand the time back to our MC, Yiyun.
Thank you, Moslo and Mr. Lim, for that interesting discussion. We have now come to the end of the In Dialogue with You session. We hope that you have taken away many interesting nuggets to further inspire you to innovate and co-create our energy future together. We would like to invite all participants to provide your feedback on today's program through the gov.sg form. You will be able to access today's quiz on Singapore's energy sector after completing the feedback form. Again, I encourage you to participate as 20 students will have the chance to walk away with a $10 Grab voucher each if they answer all the questions in the quiz correctly. The top 20 students will be selected based on the shortest time to submit your answers. So do take time to explore the youth exhibitions available on this virtual platform. Remember, the information may be helpful in answering the questions on the quiz. You may refer to the on-screen details on how to navigate the Youth Energy Showcase tab on the virtual platform. Without further ado, we shall now commence our award ceremony for the Energy Industry Scholarship 2020. The Energy Industry Scholarship is Singapore's first dedicated scholarship for the energy sector. It aims to inspire students to embark on a rewarding, meaningful, and stable career in the energy sector. This year, 2 energy industry scholarships are sponsored by SP Group. We are honored to have Mr. Kenneth So, the Chief Human Resource Officer of SP Group, here with us today to award the scholarships to the students. Now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to invite Moslo to say a few words to recipients of the Energy Industry Scholarship. Moslo, please.
Right, thank you. My heartiest congratulations to our 2 scholarship recipients this year. James Lam Yuji, he is in his final year of his electrical and electronic engineering course at Singapore Polytechnic. I know we are having Zoom, but can we put our hands together and congratulate him? Yeah. Can we see where is James? Can you give us a wave? Oh, don't be shy. Okay, congratulations, James. And also, I would like to extend a heartiest congratulations to Liu Zengkit, Gustavus. He is a Year 2 electrical engineering student at Ngee Polytechnic. Congratulations, Gustavus. Where are you? Where are you? Give a wave. Ah, okay. And really well done to both of you. And I must tell you, I'm a mother of 2 boys. I said that earlier. So I think it's occasions like this that we must not forget James and Gustavus, family members, and also teachers. I don't know, are they zooming in? But they are important because they have always been behind you, supporting you. That's why we have come this far and we have done well. And we want to thank your family members and teachers, all of whom play a crucial role in providing support and encouragement. And on this note, I also want to, on behalf of MTI and EMA, also say a big thank you to the sponsoring organization, SP Group, for helping to build a talent pipeline for the energy sector. Now, I know earlier on in the dialogue and in my opening address I've said it, but allow me to again mention and also reassure all of you who are zooming in that our Singapore's energy sector is evolving towards a more sustainable, resilient and digitalized future, bringing in it very interesting and new jobs. When we talk about digitalized, Kelvin gave example, I gave example. So one thing we hope you have a takeaway is when you think about power engineering job, please don't use the current lens. You may think that, oh, it's done this way, it's very manual, you have to use a particular meter, go around checking. Actually, with digitalization, it has really completely changed the game. And central to the transformation is really innovation. And if you ask me, innovation, it is really anchored by talent. So youth like James and Gustavus will play important role in shaping Singapore's energy future. So I hope not just our 2 recipients today, all of you who are joining us today, you will seize the opportunities that come your way in this new energy landscape and also find your own way to contribute meaningfully to the sector. Like what I say, ultimately, this is our energy story, ours to create. So on this note, once again, heartiest congratulations to James, Gustavus and your family member, and also your teachers, and let's press on together and write our energy story together. Thank you.
Thank you, Moslow. We will now present the Energy Industry Scholarship Awards. The first scholarship award from SP Group goes to James Lam UT. James is currently pursuing a diploma in electrical and electronic engineering at the Singapore Polytechnic. May I invite Moslow, Mr. So, James, and his family to take a photo, please? Can we have everyone smile at the camera, please?
Oh, that's very nice. Yes. We'll wait for James and his family. Oh, that's very nice. 慢慢来，不用紧，不用紧。Ah, nice.
Okay. Now, can we have everyone smile your camera, please? On my cue, 3, 2, 1, cheese! Thank you, Moslow, Mr. So, James, and family. Okay, now the next scholarship award from SP Group goes to Liu Zhang Kit Gustavus. Gustavus is currently pursuing a diploma in electrical engineering at Ngee Polytechnic. Again, may I invite Moslow, Mr. So, Gustavus, and his family in for a photo, please?
Okay, nice.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
Just give us a few moments, please.
No worries.
Okay, now, can we have everyone smile your cameras, please? And on my cue, 3, 2, 1, cheese! Thank you, Moslow, Mr. So, Gustavus, and family.
This is really a digital world because she just left her room to join Gustavus in his room. See?
Yes.
Yeah, the age of digitalization. Well done.
Thank you, Moslow, Mr. So, Gustavus, and family. Again, now I need to invite Moslow, Mr. So, in for a group photo together with James and Gustavus. Okay. Again, can I have everyone smile your cameras, please? And on my cue, 3, 2, 1. Cheese! Thank you, Moslow, Mr. So, James, and Gustavus. Congratulations to the Energy Industry Scholarship recipients. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank SP Group for sponsoring this year's scholarships, and Mr. So from SP Group for joining us today. Now, we have come to the end of our Energy Industry Scholarship Award ceremony. Without further ado, we shall now move into the next segment of today's program, the virtual tour of the Youth Energy Showcase. This year, we are delighted to have 9 schools which are showcasing their inspiring innovations that could help us achieve a more energy-efficient Singapore under the Youth Energy Showcase. While students from Ngee Ann Polytechnic, IT College Central, and IT East are unable to join us today, their showcase materials are available on the youth exhibition available on this virtual platform. So do remember to check it out. Before we begin, I would like to remind all presenting students to unmute your mic before you speak and to mute your mic when you're done with your presentations. And now, to kickstart the presentations, let us begin with the theme, Decarbonisation. May I invite students from Republic Polytechnic to begin your presentations, please.
Hi, everyone. Can I have the slides? All right. Hello and a very good morning to everyone. I am Irfan from RP.
I'm Daniel from RP. And I'm Shamin from RP.
And lastly, I'm Mahadi from RP. Okay, and we are representing the SEG team in Republic Polytechnic. So our project is harnessing energy from human motion with mechanical energy harvester. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so after hearing that topic, we have a few objectives and plans for our project. So what we wanted to create is an energy harvester that can take advantage of human motion and vibrations to harness its energy. And with that energy harvested, we can put it into an energy storage system like a battery. Lithium battery will be good because as humans, we move a lot. So this is very efficient for harvesting energy. And using phones and our electronic devices is something that we use very often also. It is part of our life. We are very reliant to it. And this can be very good for emergency times. So after having the storage system, we then need somewhere to apply our energy storage system and the harvester on. So knowing that we have to harvest from humans, we wanted to create a wearable out of it, like a wristband or an armband. Yeah. Next slide.
Okay, so as you can see, this is our energy harvester prototype design. And as you can see from the first photo, the magnets are mounted on the spinner, and the spinner it is fixed above the coils. So when it spins, voltage is generated across the coil by electromagnetic induction. And the second photo is the virtual design of our product, and the third photo is the layer of the design that we made. Next slide. So from these two short videos, we can see that this is our testing of the prototype, and as you can see, the motion of it is through spinning of the spinner, voltage is generated. Next slide.
Okay, so as mentioned, Today's theme is about decarbonization, and our design is inspired by a windmill structure, simply because of the clean energy concept of wind energy. So we would like to generate clean energy with the use of human motion. However, there are factors which regulates the generation of electricity, such as magnetic flux, the number of coils and magnets, and as such. So the derivation of the circuit is vital to ensure smooth generation and transition of energy harvesting and electricity. From left to right, we have energy harvester, which harnesses the energy from the motion itself to AC current and voltage. And there is the rectifier, as well as the energy storage, and a DC to DC converter, as well as the USB output to charge our output source, such as our mobile devices. So on to the next slide. Among the different multiple energy harvesting method, we use triboelectric and electromagnetism concept. By merging them together, we further increases the magnitude of the generation, whereas shown in the slide. So there is the PCB, the separator, and the tribo film, and the magneticals to show every single stage. So in short, this explains the clean hybrid energy harvesting mechanism, which practically needs our human motion. I will now hand over to Mahathir. Next slide.
I saw this inside look of what our end final prototype in our mind will be. As you can see, the final prototype could be worn as an armband that can be used to generate energy. It will be most efficient during a workout as in lot of human motion, and it also can be served as a portable energy source. Can we get the next slide, please? So with that, we come to the end of our project presentation.
Well done. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Well done. Well, I'm not the engineer here, Kelvin is. Don't worry, I will not ask any question. It's very insightful, and it's not just show and tell. You actually did a prototype. I thought it's really amazing how you're mindful that we Singaporeans love to clock 10,000 steps a day, right? Although during circuit breaker, you have been challenging. But normally we'll try to clock 10,000 steps, especially for youth like yourself. And how do you combine that with wearable technology or application? And really, it is very, very eye-opening to see how you have used the concept of kinetic energy, how to translate and harness the kinetic energy to powering ourselves. And I think, Kelvin, if in time to come, Jura Power have this product, you have to credit them.
Yes.
I'm the witness today. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. Obviously, it came from motivated by wind energy, windmills. I understand that concept is very nice. One comment perhaps that could be useful is target applications that, because your energy is generated by movement, focus on platforms or applications that has movements. So one example is put it in a lift, in a HDB block. It moves all the time. The energy then could power the lights in the lift. Therefore, you use less energy from the grid, right? Yeah. So that could be something that you can zoom back later.
Very good point. Well done, the team from RP.
Thank you, Republic Poly. Thank you, Moslow and Mr. Lim, for the comments as well. Next up, we have students from Nanyang Technological University for the next presentation.
Hello and good morning. I'm Lei Hao from NTU representing Nanyang Ventures 11 or NV11. Next slide. So NV11, it is our project that competes in Shell Eco Marathon, and it is a competition which focuses on efficiency rather than outright speed. As efficiency is the main goal, the design focus of the vehicle was done with efficiency in mind. Hence, the design was based on the animal orca for its aerodynamical body. Next slide. Being aerodynamically efficient, we also focus on driver cooling to ensure the driver is sufficiently cooled so he or she can drive it in the most efficient manner. We also realize that this is a two-seater vehicle, which is a first in the series. But the main purpose of the second seed is that as a side project, this vehicle can be converted into an autonomous vehicle. That, however, is still very much a work in progress. Next slide. So, with efficiency in mind, weight must also be kept to a minimum to maximize mileage. Hence, the car features a carbon fiber body that measures 3.4 meters in length and 1.2 meters in both height and width. The resulting weight brings us to around 120 kg with a limited top speed of 40 km per hour that is powered with a 48-volt system. In the most recent competition, the car managed an efficiency or mileage of 79.8 km per kilowatt hour. To end our presentation, we would like to show a video of a very recent test run. Thank you.
Thank you, Nanyang Technological University. Next up, we have students from National University for the next presentation.
Good morning, Moslow, Mr. Lim, and participants. My name is Nicholas from Alpha Electrics, and I am delighted to be able to showcase our project to you because we strongly believe that we are building technology that will benefit all parties, consumer, manufacturers, and government. Our startup is Alpha Electrics, and we dabble in mobility infrastructure. Next slide, please. Our core development revolves around the Alpha Energy Network. This comprises of the Alpha Cell, which is a hot swap battery pack, and the Alpha Nexus, which is the charging station. And together, they form the product of what we envision the future infrastructure for refueling EVs to be like. Next slide, please. The process is very simple. It's called stop, swap, go. Stop, swap, go. Imagine you're running out of charge. You can simply stop at the nearest charging station. Just a quick pull of the batteries would enable you to swap out those depleted batteries for a set of fresh ones. And then go. Head out on your day to your next location. This process is so seamless and so quick that it takes less time to do it than it is for me to just explain it. And even better is that this process, this ecosystem can be easily adapted to more ease in the future as battery technology matures. Now, we chose to focus on infrastructure technology because that is the core aspect that is lacking in the first step into our clean and sustainable future. And we understand governments seek to privatize the sector, and we want to win using market forces to ensure a real change can be done to improve the sustainability of Singapore and our region. And just like what Mr. Kelvin mentioned, we need to find that special part where we can excel. And we feel that at this juncture, it is in the energy infrastructure space. Next slide, please. At a national level, one way we can utilize our charging station more efficiently is to allow renewable energy sources like solar to store energy within our stations. Now, these smart stations can serve as multiple energy resources to complement Singapore's Smart Grid 2.0, where battery charging station can act as buffer to store and discharge energy. Next slide, please. Our charging station will then be able to discharge excess renewable energy during the night when renewable energy is not created. The Alpha Energy Network not only reduces emission from the mobility sector, but also from the city grid, which is a major emitter of greenhouse gases. And this is crucial if we want to accommodate larger share of renewable energy in Singapore for more reliable, more affordable energy sector. And as Ms. Moslow has stated, 600 blocks of solar panels. Now imagine we can use that to power our EVs. And we want to accomplish that. Next slide, please. So to do all of this, we are a group of NUS designer, engineer, and business students who really seek to usher in a new generation of clean, efficient mobility option. And currently we are in the midst of completing a proof of concept. Let us show you a video to tell you more on the work that we have done.
Decarbonisation. We need it now, more than ever. With one of the highest growth rates in transportation energy consumption, we can expect more of these harmful greenhouse gases to be emitted. But what if we could make it all go away? It's time to go electric. In our world today, along with the battle against the global pandemic, we see an upsurge in the e-commerce industry. This has inflated the need for courier service vehicles. Motorcycles, a staple mode of transport in Southeast Asia, emits 18 times more harmful particles than other vehicles, the biggest contributor to the pollution we face in Southeast Asia. Motorcycles are essential, especially so with their increased usage for delivery. So a change now will result in a great reduction in air pollution. But getting people to swap to EVs is not that simple. Our societies have three major problems that affect adoption rates of EVs. These include high purchase cost, slow recharge time, and a lack of charging infrastructure. By combining our passion and expertise in design, engineering, and business, we sought to reimagine ways to catalyze the future of EV. We asked ourselves this question: how could we improve receptivity of EVs by redesigning its charging infrastructure? At the core of our development, we have wireless technology that provides energy transfer in both directions. This improves safety of portable battery storage by enclosing the components in one fully sealed box. Here's how it works. A charging module wirelessly transmits energy into the battery. But what's so special with our wireless technology is that it will also be able to wirelessly discharge into an electric motor. And the best part about this is that it is entirely waterproof, and this helps mitigate danger for users in the harshest of Southeast Asian weather. Our team is in the process of further developing our technology into a full battery system. Introducing the Alpha Energy Network, which includes the Alpha Energy Cell and the Alpha Charging Stations. The Alpha Cell combines our wireless charging technology in an ergonomically designed and fully sealed shell. We envision charge and discharge modules that will be installed in our charging stations and electric vehicles. With the Alpha Energy Cell, charging your electric vehicle had never been easier. When your scooter runs out of power, all you need to do is simply stop by a charging station, remove your empty battery pack, and swap them out with full ones at the station. Replace them into your scooters and go on your day. We believe that with further development and support, we will be able to expand our technology to other modes of transport like micromobility in malls and airports all around the world. One day, fuel stations will be obsolete. Have you ever wondered what could replace them? It's time to go electric.
Thank you once again to students from Republic Polytechnic.
We just want to chime in and maybe allow me to congratulate the team from NTU and also NUS. I think both are talking about powering mobility. right? In fact, the car could really well, I can imagine in time to come when it hit the road, it really will help with the last mile connectivity. And for the second one, I want to congratulate the team from NUS. I believe you have already set up your startup, am I right? I know your mic may not.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, and you have done your proof of concept, am I right?
Yes, we are finalizing the stages of proof of concept.
Okay. Well, I will defer to Kelvin because he's the expert in battery. It just so happened that in my Ministry of Trade and Industry capacity, Shichun will know, I'm also overseeing the Pro Enterprise Panel. And as part of that, I work with a lot of trade association. Coincidentally, yesterday I was just with the Chinese Chamber, as well as the president and the appointment holders of the Singapore Motorcycle Trade Association. They are actually a trade association to about 178 members, and these members are the players that are the authorized distributor for Yamaha, etc., or they may be dealers or parallel importers. So we were really talking about the EV because it's important, and I think you, in a way, you hit the nail on the head by saying that actually key to it is actually a charging infrastructure. Well, I am being very fair to all teams. I'm just saying that since we have that conversation, we'll be happy to, via EMA, connect you with the association or even relevant authority, because this is a topic that LTA, which is Land Transport Authority, and also EMA, in fact, ESG as well, from the standards point of view, are working together. There is a convener that looks at the TR25 and how to, evolve TR25 to really put in place this EV charging infrastructure. So happy to connect you guys.
Thank you so much.
If I may share a few words as well, I don't know if we're running out of time. To the team at NV11, good job. I thought as well as Moslow mentioned, that would be a very good application for last mile application. And then Alpha Electric, Nicholas and team, to be honest, I saw your video yesterday. I was on the website, I was surfing on some of the interesting submissions. I look at the video, I like it. And these are products that actually we have deployed currently at India and Thailand. But the idea you have, I believe, is good to think about commercialization. If you need a partner to join force with you to give you more ideas and support, you know who to look for. I will support that.
Thank you so much.
Well done. This could be your angel investor or Series A funding.
It's part of the development. We need partners. There's a lot of partners that we require in commercializing this. But thank you so much.
Can I just ask, is Prof. Wong Po Kam you're working with you guys, or as part of NUS Enterprise, am I right?
Yes, we actually have a grant from NUS, and then we are working with NUS Enterprise, but also the electrical side. There are many distinguished professors that have relevant fields and networks that we are also tapping onto. So as we go forward, it's not an easy task. It definitely has a lot of components, but we're glad that we are able to have all these Singaporean connections to help us in commercializing this.
Good. So continue your stop, swap, and goal journey. Yeah? All the best.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Moslow and Mr. Lim, for the comments. We'd like to thank all the students from the earlier teams for sharing your innovative ideas on decarbonization for the energy sector. The next theme we will be discussing is digitalization. May I now invite students from Singapore Institute of Technology to kickstart the discussion, please.
Good morning, MS Low, Mr. Lim, distinguished guests, everyone. My name is Timothy, and I'm from Singapore Institute of Technology at Newcastle University. My project is titled Analysis on Machine Learning Techniques for Time Series Demand Forecasting. The purpose of this project is to design a simple graphic user interface, or GUI for short, that helps engineers to understand and utilize common machine learning models to forecast electrical load demand. Due to the short time available, I will only be showing snippets of my GUI. A demo can be seen on the shortcut. So how does this fit into the theme of digitalization? It fits as it encourages, next slide please. Yeah, so it fits into the theme as it encourages adoption of the upcoming digital technologies in the industry. Recent development in computing capabilities also allows for greater use of data simulation techniques. that can understand the behavior of engineering systems. As such, with access to certain types of data that's easily captured, and the results that are generated by such models, this could help electrical engineers improve their decision-making process. A few places where this will be applicable. For example, to estimate estimated output of a PV cell based on data of past weather and irradiance, or to forecast load consumption of smart grids to determine suitable periods to participate in energy retailing. And in maintenance, we could also determine appropriate maintenance schedule for switchgears based on its performance parameters that were collected during operation. So on the right, I have a data set that is a sample data for electrical demand for Singapore during 2019. Data that electrical engineers might use are often time series in nature. Hence, the goal of this project is to explore how data could be utilized with those models. Next slide. In the GUI, after the user has selected a model, they are able to define certain parameters that will affect the performance of the model. This could be the number of layers, the size of the convolution layer, or the amount of training epochs to be used. And once that is selected, the model will be trained in real time, and the outcome of the model training can be reviewed by the user. This outcome will vary based on what the user selects, and after which the user can also do a day-ahead scenario prediction to see the results. Next slide. The GUI also provides an interface for the user to explore analyzing the results generated from the model with different error metrics. In this example, since the parameters are not fine-tuned, there are definitely a larger error margin, but the goal is to allow the user to get a quick taste of the possibilities of using such techniques. And lastly, in the GUI, the user can also choose other models as part of the demonstration on various machine learning models. Each of the models selected will exhibit a different behavior in terms of training speed and result accuracy, as well as the parameters to be fine-tuned. In conclusion, I hope this sample demonstration using the GUI that I have created will inspire engineers to adapt different problem-solving perspectives to augment the electrical engineering industry. There are many different untapped opportunities for the integration of such technologies into the energy industry. Hence, I do hope prospective engineers will also consider such opportunities for consideration. Now, with that, I end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Singapore Institute of Technology. Next up, we have students from Temasek Polytechnic for the next presentation.
Good morning, Minister Loh and distinguished guests. I'm Asher, and joined with me is my teammates Wen, Zoe, Zhenrui, and Aloysius from Temasek Poly. And I'll be presenting on behalf of my team for this project, the Eco Shower. Can we show the video, please?
Studies have shown that most of the water is used up in the showers at home. To tackle this issue, we have come up with Eco Shower to help reduce water wastage in showers.
Now let's go through how Eco Shower actually works. Upon turning on the tap, cold water flows into the water reservoir. To measure the amount of cold water being saved, we included a flow meter in the system. This information will be passed on to the user through our application. When the desired water temperature is reached, the water stops flowing into the reservoir and starts flowing into the misting shower head for the start of the shower. This mist is used for additional water savings. When the soap is dispensed, water supply automatically stops to conserve water. When the resume button is enabled, the water flows into the normal water flow shower head. An important feature is the rationing for each shower session. Each user is assigned 40 liters of water. If it is reached at any point of time, or if the stop button is enabled, the water supply automatically stops. To avoid users taking a second shower, there is a gap of 5 minutes for the system to restart. How will consumers know the amount of water being saved from using Eco Shower? Well, we have a phone application which allows users to track the amount of cold water saved and water consumed while showering. So how much water is actually being saved from using Eco Shower? When the water heater is turned on, around 550 ml of cold water comes out before the water heats up based on our own experiment. For soaping time, it takes up an average of 1 minute based on our survey. 9 liters of water is used up for every minute of showering based on an article by Asia 1. As for rationing, 151 liters of water is estimated to be used per person in a day in Singapore, and 29% of that is used for showering in a typical household. This is based on an article by Straits Times. Since 40 liters is assigned for each user, a total of 3.79 liters will be saved. Rationing will also instill discipline in users and avoid them from taking long indulgent baths. For the mist, it uses 5.1 liters of water per minute as compared to the normal flow of 8.6 liters previously mentioned. This results in a total of 40% of the water being saved when using the misting shower as compared to the normal flow shower. How would Eco Shower appeal to customers? Eco Shower is portable as it is of 30 by 30 cm. It is a fuss-free and user-friendly system due to only having 2 switches: soap dispensing and a resume and stop switch. It is also easily installed and can be integrated in any shower setup. Just connect your water heater pipe to its inlet on the bottom and your shower heads to its outlet on the top. For servicing, just remove the cover and the control circuit is revealed. Remove that and the plumbing is accessible.
Well done.
Next slide, please. So as seen from the video, I will now be presenting several benefits that our product will provide. In an article published by Straits Times, it is noted that one person uses up to 151 liters of water a day, with 30% of that being used for showering. Next slide. Our Eco Shower saves around 3.79 liters of water. If given the opportunity to work on it further, our product may be able to increase this water saving amount to around 4 to 5 liters. Even though it may seem like a small amount, this number adds up. If every household in Singapore were to use this device, we will be able to save around 21 million liters of water per day. Next slide, please. With that being calculated, we can estimate a total saving of around 7.7 billion liters of water annually, and this would decrease our water imports from Malaysia by about 2.2%. Next slide. With the benefits outlined, the water can be used in other industries such as agriculture or silicon semiconductor manufacturers will allow these industries to grow. My team and I urge you to feedback and share our idea to your fellow colleagues. This is a small but significant step in helping Singapore become more water sufficient. And with that, I end my presentation for our project, the Eco Shower. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Temasek Polytechnic. Next up, we are students from Singapore Polytechnic for the next presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jason from Singapore Polytechnic, School of Triple E. Let us start off with a video. Video, please. Singapore is one of the greenest cities in the world, with parks and gardens occupying 47% of all land. But people may not be deriving maximum enjoyment from these outdoor parks and gardens, simply because it is so hot there most of the time. While pavilions with cooling fans and lightings would be welcome, the high costs involved in building the structures and installing electrical cabling are prohibitive. Our idea is to create a solar-powered garden pavilion which is energy efficient, cost-effective, live energy monitored, integrated with fun exercise gaming, safe and reliable. We have designed and built a prototype of the solar-powered pavilion, integrated with human power harnessing that provides a shelter equipped with air cooling, lighting, and charging for mobile devices. With the experience gained in building this prototype, we would like to collaborate with the relevant agencies to test bed the design by retrofitting an existing shelter or pavilion. We plan to push for more cost-effective smart green spaces in our campus and in Singapore. Thank you very much.
Thank you, student.
If I could chime in, I'm quite sure Kelvin would like to chime in. The fourth, fifth, and the sixth team, I think the fourth team was from SIT. Timothy, thank you for taking us through the slides on machine learning techniques using time series load forecasting. Actually, this is this is a very good example of what Kelvin mentioned earlier, how we leverage on machine learning, AI, digitalization, to and as we do some of this load forecasting, it allows us to do preemptive maintenance, whether it's on solar panels. So not just something that can potentially be applied for the energy sector, may well be very useful for transport sector, such as MRT, preemptive maintenance. Indeed. So thank you to Timothy. And now the next team, thank you also to Temasek Poly, Asher and him, and team on the Eco Shower. Very practical idea. I saw the logo of PUB, the sticker. I'm quite sure PUB is already in touch with you when you develop your prototype. Really, every drop counts. And I'm very happy that you are sharing this particular prototype, because we really need to prepare ourselves for water sufficiency. And like you mentioned, you know, even though it may seem to be 3 liters per person per day, but it adds up to be 21 million if we can maximize and harness across the whole nation. And I thought what was really quite game-changing was also your app, because when you have an app, it allows you to track, and it also is a very important means to shape the right behavior. And congratulations also to Singapore Poly team, Jason and team, on your solar garden pavilion. Maybe in time to come, really, we may not only see it in park, but maybe in some of our senior fitness corner. As our elderly exercise, now they know that they can channel, just like the first team, you know, they're kinetic energy into solar energy. So thank you to all of you. This is an example of what we talk about. By sending your ideas in, we will certainly work with the relevant agency to see how to support your ideation to fruition. Yeah, so let's continue to write Singapore's energy future together. Thank you.
I'll say a few words as well. It's certainly very heartwarming to see many good ideas coming up from the students. The Timothy shared about the digitization, machine learning tool that is part of what we call in the industry an energy management system. And that is exactly what we should go for in a larger renewable energy landscape. We target for the brain. The brain of the system is where we at Dura Power believe in as well. Go for the controls, and then we leave the other mechanical works outside as a second tier. Eco shower, I think that's a very good idea. I should introduce that to my wife. She takes more than an hour to shower every day. I think she's wasting a lot of water. Solar power garden pavilion, fantastic idea, certainly doable. And again, to all the other student teams out there who may not have the chance to present this morning, if you need any support from the industry, any advice whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. We will be happy to support in any way that we can from the industry. Moslow talked a lot about from the government agency side, but from the industry, I'd like you to know that there's someone here that we'd like you to be in touch with if you need any help. Thank you.
Thank you, Moslow and Mr. Lim, for your comments. Again, we'd like to thank students from Singapore Institute of Technology, Temasek Polytechnic, and Singapore Polytechnic for the interesting discussions on digitalization in the energy sector. Once again, a big thank you to all the schools for your exciting presentations. Before we conclude the Youth Energy Showcase segment, could we please invite Moslow and Mr. Lim to take a photo with the students, please? Okay, can we have everyone smile at your cameras, please? And on my cue, 3, 2, 1, cheese! Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Moslow and Mr. Lim. We have now come to the end of today's program, and we hope that everyone has a better understanding of the energy story and are inspired to make a difference in Singapore's energy future. Before we log off, we'd like to invite all participants to provide your feedback on today's program through the gov.sg form. We would love to hear from you and understand how we can make this program more exciting for you. You will be able to access today's quiz on Singapore's energy sector after completing the feedback form. Again, I encourage you to participate, as 20 students will have the chance to walk away with a $10 Grab voucher each if they answer all the questions in the quiz correctly. The top 20 students will be selected based on the shortest time to submit your answers, so do take time to explore the youth exhibition available on this virtual platform. Remember, the information may be helpful in answering the questions on the quiz. We would like to thank Moslow, Mr. Lim, and everyone in the audience for joining us here this morning. It's been a wonderful pleasure to be your MC, and we look forward to seeing you at In Dialogue with Youth 2021. We wish you a pleasant day ahead. Take care and stay safe. Thank you.